For the whole duration of the Fairtrade Fortnight, a fun zone has been set up in Cardiff's Morgan Arcade. The event, that will last until 13th of March, is the occasion to learn more about Fairtrade through different activities. Products are also proposed to the public to enjoy.
So, Ellen Jones, National Coordinator for Fairtrade Wales. Tell me a bit about what's happening in Fairtrade Wales this fortnight.
Well, as the world's first fair trade nation, I'd like to say that we're leading the way. We've decided to take the fair trade stories to the people of our capital city, which is also the world's first fair trade capital city. So we've got a series of events, from producer visits to sampling and tasting to an educational area for school children to come and visit and learn. We've got information centre. But we're calling it the Fairtrade Fun Zone because it's all about having fun and learning about the issues, because the issues are quite serious, but if you learn them in a light-hearted way, then you can really find out how you can personally make a difference in making this a much fairer world for all.
And why is it important to be fair trade?
Well, I'm probably not the best person to answer that. The best person to answer that is someone who's actually a farmer themselves, who is perhaps out of the fair trade system, who is trying to access markets, who's not getting a fair pay for a day's work, who can't afford to send his children to school, can't access health services when they're not very well. When all they're trying to do is get a voice and to be heard and to develop the community for themselves. So I'd ask them to sort of say why the fair trade is important. From a country point of view, it not only fits into our sustainable development strategy to make sure that we understand and we procure things from an environmentally standard perspective, but also on an equity level, we know how hard things have been for us here in Wales. It's really important for us to remember with our local strategy that if someone is working hard, then they need to get rewarded for it.
The Fairtrade Fortnight is also a perfect occasion to try different products. The Fun Zone proposes free coffee and tea every day. It is also possible to buy many different craft works from different regions of the world. On Monday, visitors could taste the olive oil from a Palestinian producer who was to give a talk about his life as a fair trade farmer. The navigator had the chance to sit for a long interview with him while he was on visit in Wales.
Hi, I'm here talking to Rezek Abu Nasser, who's a Palestinian olive oil grower, and here to talk as part of the Fairtrade Fortnight about olive oil growing and the difficulties he has doing that in Israel. So Rezek, tell me a bit about why you're here, your schedule and what you're here to talk about.
I am here to participate in the Fairtrade Fortnight, and this is the second time for me to participate in the Fairtrade Fortnight in Britain. And this is a kind of marketing and making advertisement for our organic olive oil, which we produce in Palestine. I will talk in London area and in Wales area, and I have a program in which more than 17 talks for the whole 2 weeks.
And how do you find Wales?
I found Wales that they are a warm people, and they are opposite of the weather of Wales. The weather is cold, but the people are warm and welcomed. And this year, or I find that every year in Britain, I find new people who start to understand or re-understand the issue in Palestine and our fighting or our resistance of occupation.
As a Palestinian, how does Israeli occupation affect you?
Face many or a long list of problems because of the occupation. Just here we will talk about the main problems which we face. The big main problem is that they confiscate our land and build the settlement on it. The building of the settlement is not only take part of our land, but close thousands of denims from our land. I mean by close that we couldn't reach this land because the roads to it are closed by the settlements. The land which we used to reach it in 1 hour, now we have to spend 5 hours to reach it. And you know, as a farmer, if he spend 5 hours to reach the field and 5 hours to come back, the day is lost. The sewage of the settlements go free in our land, and every year you will find a new trees died and killed because of the Israeli or the settlements sewage. Another thing which we face in some seasons, and this is, I don't talk all the time, but in some seasons the settlers, they come to our fields and drop what we collect, or by themselves they harvest our field and take it to their houses. And in some seasons they prevent us to harvest our fields. In the mind of every one of us, there is a long list of the Palestinian farmers who've been killed or injured in their fields. For that, we used all the time to go to our fields with our families. But now our kids were afraid to go to the fields with us, and sometimes if we ask workers to help us to pay for them, they refuse because it is danger for them to be in these fields. In marketing our olive oil, because of the checkpoints, this is one. Because the second is that we, as Palestinians, the only way, according to Paris Agreement, economy agreement, the only way for us to produce or to export our product is through Israeli port. And when we talk about olive oil, we have to change 3 or 4 vessels for the olive oil inside, and from the bottling factory to the port. The first vessel is we put the bottled olive oil in a vessel and send it, drive it to the checkpoint which is between West Bank and Israel. There, our vessel is not allowed. We have to move the what we booked from our vessel to an Israeli vessel back to back. Then on the airport, they have to take all of what inside the vessel out, to check it and to send it in another vessel to take it to the shipping board or to the shipping containers and put it again. And this is complicated and dangerous for the olive oil. If they keep just the olive oil under the sun for 2 hours, and you can try it with a little olive oil, if you put them under the sun just for half an hour or 1 hour, you will find it is corrupted and you can't consume it. By fair trade, we succeed to have a good prices. What the meaning of, as a farmer, what the meaning of fair trade for me? The meaning of fair trade for me is that the cost of the producing and add a draft or a little percentage as which is enough for me to stay producing. That in 2004 and in 2005, I am as a farmer was forced to sell my olive oil 1 pound and 1 pound and a half, between 1 pound and 1 pound and a half for every kilo. In 2008 and 2009, I find the chance to sell my olive oil with more than 5 pounds for every kilo. The fair trade policy or philosophy is to give the farmer more than he pay in his farming. And the cost of producing 1 kilo of olive oil, according to the experts, to the economical experts, not to me, is around £4 for every kilo. Then they add around £1 for us as farmers and buy our olive oil.
How do you become fair trade?
Zaytuna Association in Britain visit Palestine, and they find that the life of the olive farmers is miserable. They want to market our olive oil, but there is a competition between our olive oil and the Greek olive oil and the Spain olive oil and the Turkey olive oil. And in these countries, there is a kind of investments of millions in producing and marketing and manufacturing the olive oil. But we are a poor farmers, and we haven't an umbrella or who can support us. For that, we work with them to produce a fair trade produce, which have to be organic. This is one. Second, have to accept the conditions of fair trade, that they decide the prices and the premium. There is a little percentage which we call the premium. It's part of the extra money. We put them a kind of investment in the infrastructure of our local society. By this they help us and change our life. And now, if you want to see the difference, you will find that hundreds of farmers start to go again to their land and plant it with olive trees.
So what are your hopes for the future?
Yeah, in general, as a human being, I hope that it will be peace by the support of all the people in Britain and in Europe and all the international community who like or who love or who push the peace process to come up and to approach the peace. But as a farmer, now I have around 15 dunums planted with olive trees. I like them to be 30 dunums or more.
I saw on the internet that last year you had a problem getting a visa to come here. Why was that?
I don't know if it is incredible the last year that when they justify that they didn't give the visa to someone, they said that we haven't enough reason to be convinced that you will go back to Iraq. But the one who asked for the visa is Palestinian. I don't know. But where they send this message after the fortnight finished and it is mean nothing.